wildlife rehabilitation. So basically wildlife rehabilitation is we take in sick and injured wild birds, we try to fix them and release them back into the wild. And sometimes we can't fix them, and so it's really fun to be able to have one come in that everything works out well and he's healed up nicely and he's flying and he's ready to go. And so this guy just had his toe stuck in a leg hold trap. And so you guys know what those are. They're kind of big metal things that...
Yeah, they have like these pinches on them, and whenever something steps in them, it starts...
Exactly, exactly. And so the trappers use them because they want to catch a raccoon or a mink or something like that so that they can use the fur. But the problem with this setup was that there was a fish, and the eagles, you guys know, eagle eyes, right? They can see 10 times as good as we can, and that eagle went, oh, free food. It was like somebody just, you know, leaving a chocolate cake out for you. And so, oh, that nice feeling of free food. And so he went down to get that fish, accidentally got his foot in that trap. And so hopefully what we want to be able to tell people who like to trap for fur animals is that if they can use smells, they have scents that they can put on their trap that smell like a fish but don't look like a fish. And eagles, they have really good eyes, and so do hawks, but they do not have a good sense of smell. They can't smell hardly anything at all, and so they wouldn't even notice that trap at that point in time. If it just smelled like a fish, they would just pass it on by, and then hopefully the trapper would be able to just catch what they want to catch in that trap and not have an eagle or a hawk caught in there. Because when Shelly called me, I was really worried, because usually those leg hold traps, they stick their whole entire foot in and then it snaps on their ankle. And then they get really scared. I mean, you can imagine, it's like something grabbing a hold of you and you don't know what it is. And they twist and they turn and they'll end up breaking their leg and cutting off all the tendons in the circulation, and usually the foot dies, and we have to put the bird down, we have to put him to sleep. And so it was just so exciting when Shelly called back. She said, no, it's just the toe, and we got him out. And so he just has a scar right here on one of his toes. He didn't even lose his toe. And so this one worked out just exactly good. But hopefully, maybe it was a good lesson in that we won't trap eagles anymore. We'll just trap raccoons and mink and stuff like that the guys want to be trapping with the trap. One other thing that's happening to bald eagles really quick, we are seeing, in fact, I have 2 eagles in intensive care right now that have to have shots twice a day. They came to us with lead poisoning. And so this is become a big problem for bald eagles. We had 27 bald eagles come to us last year with lead poisoning. So this means they've eaten something with lead in it. They have eaten something with lead. And so what we think that they're eating mostly are deer carcasses. And if you guys watch bald eagles, these guys, that's going to get them in trouble. They like easy stuff, and a big dead deer is like, yeah, that chocolate cake thing again. They just key in on that, and they can eat there for several days, and it's free, and they don't have to work very hard to get it. But if it was wounded with a lead slug, there's little lead fragments left in that meat. And they will eat those along with the meat, and they'll get very, very sick. So of those 27 that came in with lead poisoning last year, 26 of them died. So it's scary. Yeah, it's pretty scary, because that's a lot of eagles, and those are just the ones that people happen to find, because, yeah, not always do they get found when they're hurt and sick. So you guys have another job. If you know somebody that likes to deer hunt, you need to take them shopping, right? Because that's what deer hunters love, is to go shopping, but not for shoes. We're gonna shop for bullets, because they make solid copper deer slugs that would not be poisonous to an eagle. If they ate a deer carcass that had been shot with a slug, or convince them to get good with a bow and arrow, that'd be good too. But solid copper deer slugs. I know that was a little bit complicated, but I gave your teacher some stuff, and so maybe you guys can check that out a little bit more. But that's going to be a huge deal for bald eagle. So, are you ready to let this one go?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to get him out of the box, and I'll hang on to him.
Real quick, can you tell them what they're doing here this time of year? Because we see a lot of eagles around Lake City, and I've had people asking me, do they have babies? Are they having eggs? What are they doing right now?
So right now, there are some birds that are still moving around because they've spent the winter. So the Canadian eagles and the northern Minnesota eagles and the northern Wisconsin eagles have come south for the winter time. In Iowa, usually we have several thousand eagles that spend the winter here in Iowa. This winter was a little odd, wasn't it? It was really nasty. I think a lot of them went to Missouri this year and didn't stay here. And so there's some eagles that we're seeing now that are still going back up north. They're going back up to nest in northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin. Those birds haven't started to nest yet because there's still ice and lots of snow further north. And so they're kind of hanging out and waiting for things to melt and go north. But the eagles that live here in Iowa usually stay here year-round, and they are already sitting on eggs in their nests. Yeah, I'm going today, and the next couple days, and so, but this is their normal schedule. They usually lay eggs the end of February, the first part of March, and so we have several nesting pair around here, and so they are already hunkered down, and that mama eagle is probably not going to move off that nest for a while. And so the dad, the male eagle, will bring her food while she sits there and incubates, and so that's, yeah. And these guys, you guys know, if you've ever, has anybody ever plucked a goose? Nobody plucks geese. There you go. So you guys know that they have that outer layer of feathers, and then underneath there's a really thick layer of down, isn't there? There's that soft, fluffy white down. And that stuff keeps them really, really warm. So the eagle that we're going to let go today, he's not going to care that it's cold and snowy. He's just going to be really, really happy to be out and free again. But he has that thick layer of down. He'll just find a nice little spot out of the wind and hunker down. This eagle was hatched last year. So he's just a year old. Yeah, so he's going to look a little different than the white-tail. So let me keep him out.